Greetings, everybody. This is Tom Dyer from Usource, and today we're going to do a quick little webinar on the unseen energy cost increases, which is known as capacity here in New England. We're going to talk about some of the factors that are driving the prices up and some things that you can potentially do to mitigate some of these costs. Well, there are two main drivers of capacity. There's the capacity costs and there's the capacity tags. The capacity costs are set by an auction that takes place between generators and ISO New England, which is the grid operator. You as an industrial or commercial end user client, you have no input into what those generation prices are set at, right? Again, it's an auction. The marketplace determines the price, and the market is always looking out 3 years to determine those costs. What you do have cost considerations over, however, is your capacity tag, which is essentially a measure of your demand, your KW demand, that you're consuming at your facility during the peak hour of the peak day. So, for instance, what you did last July 2nd during the peak, I'm sorry, July 29th during the peak between hours 16 and 17, that set your demand tag for the following capacity year, which starts effective June 1st and goes through the following May 31st. Again, what you do during that 1 hour time frame establishes one of the cost components looking out into the future. So when you're working with a supplier and a supplier pulls your data to develop a price, they're also looking at what your capacity tags are. So the lower that your capacity tag is, the more effective or the lower the price you get from the marketplace because it carries a significant value. Again, last year between the hours of 4 and 5 p.m. or 16, 17, depending upon how you want to look at it, on July 29th, that was the established peak, and that peak carried forward into this year, starting June 1st in 2016. So capacity costs are on the rise. Why is that? Well, it's simply a function of a lack of generation or a need of generation in certain market areas. And so when you start breaking out the New England zone into different market areas, you'll see some market areas carry higher costs than others. And it's a reflection of, the need for additional generation. So these capacity dollars, they're designed to incent new generation in particular market areas. Again, most of that generation comes in the form of natural gas-fired generation. So here's an example of what a real live industrial client can look to savings in terms of being able to manage their capacity tag. So when you look at this matrix of prices, you'll notice that there's a client who's about a 5,600 kW demand client, and if they were to shed 10% or 20% of their load on that one peak hour of the peak day, the table below can describe or show what those savings are. Now, those savings grow each year, so $21,000 during year 15-16, $21,000 again during year 16-17, but then that number jumps up significantly for years 17 and 18, and 18 and 19. Again, these are capacity years. So June 1st, 2017, it jumps to $45,000. June 1st, 2018, it jumps up to $65,000. So over the next 4 years, you can save nearly $140,000 just by managing the peak hour. So being able to be somewhat responsive, shed about 10% of your load, there is some significant savings there that is available. So what can you do right now? Well, if you're not in a contract, or if you have a contract that's coming up at the end of this year, you need to look at what the fundamental drivers are in the marketplace and look to take some of the risk off heading into this coming winter. On top of that, it's still early in July 12th. Whether or not we've already hit the peak, it's unknown at this time, but it still makes sense anytime that the marketplace gets to, 24, 26,000 megawatts of demand by ISO, that's generally when you'll see a peak. So there's still time to potentially manage this for this year. If you're already in a contract right now, some suppliers are offering blend and extends that will allow you to capture any reductions that you do this summer and blend those into a forward year. You also may be able to look at amending your current contract to allow for capacity as a pass-through, and really focus on this summer as a test scenario because, again, those large increases aren't coming for another 2 years. There's still value, but those big increases are coming down the line. If you can't reduce your electric load at all, you should look at some alternative energy forms, such as solar or a CHP application. Look to do some maintenance during peak hours. That's always a good opportunity in terms of being able to maybe curtail some of your load without having a significant change in your production hours. Also look to see if you have any flexibility of reducing or adjusting your summer schedules to reduce your load starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and going through approximately 6 p.m. If you have any questions, I'd love to chat with you about this subject matter further. My name is Tom Dyer, the Director of Energy Procurement and Analysis here at Usource, and I can be reached at 603-294-5196. Thank you.